I didn't sleep very well last night, and I think I know why. By the way, the counter is not normally this messy. I'm cleaning the shower at the same time. While the scrubbing bubbles are doing their magic, I'm going to clean the mirror. As a public school teacher, one of the conversations that I am routinely engaged in is how kids have changed over the years. I started teaching 27 years ago, and I have seen a lot of changes to the educational system and to the kids. I'm not sure which one has changed most. But ask any teacher the biggest problem facing youth today, and they'll talk about lack of responsibility. They'll talk about electronic devices. Troll on Facebook long enough, and you'll find an article that says, studies show too many hours on an electronic device impairs students' problem-solving skills. One of the things that we are experiencing right now in our own family is certain ones of us are not getting the sleep that they need due to all kinds of potential neurological issues. And one of the things that we try to institute in those cases is no electronic devices after 9 o'clock, so your brain can power down and possibly get into a sleep rhythm and get a good night's rest. Well, I was a little hypocritical about that last night. You know, this homemade window cleaner, glass cleaner, I'm not sure if it's doing the trick. We'll come back to this. Maybe this stuff does work. Here's why I didn't sleep last night. Went to bed at a very reasonable, normal time. In fact, it was before 11 o'clock. And I decided I would take just 15 minutes to play this game on my iPad. It's a word puzzle game. You know, you're finding all the words, all the little clues and stuff, and I really enjoy those kinds of games. Well, each level doesn't take very long. And before you know it, you've done 50 levels instead of the 5 that you said you would do. Now, the way that this happened, I only had like 11 levels left to go. And I'm thinking, I can fly through these, I'll knock these things out. Well, we all know how these games make money. They make money because of the ads that pop up between each level. This ad came up for a game that looked pretty interesting. I was like, oh, that's the kind of game I would like to play. I'm almost completed with this game. I'll go ahead and download this one. So I downloaded the new game. I finished all 37 billion levels, over how many there were in the word game I was playing. And just for the fun of it, I'm going to play 1 or 2 levels. Well, 1 or 2 levels turned into, I don't know how many, but it was 1:30 when I put the tablet down and finally said, I've got to go to sleep. The problem with that is this. I couldn't go to sleep. My brain was now all wired up and from playing this game, and all these thoughts were going through my head, and it was another 30 or 40 minutes easily before my brain finally wound down and I was able to go to sleep. Here's how this whole thing works. Now, don't try to skip past this, or don't say this is getting ready to get boring and just leave this video. Hang tight with me for a few minutes. how that whole thing works. These video games truly do work like an addiction. Because what they do is they provide short-term success, short-term immediate rewards and feedback, and causes you to want to continue to play that game. It's really not any different than what I'm doing right now by cleaning the bottom of the shower. As I scrub each little piece, I can see the soap scum and the dirt going away. And it makes me want to continue to scrub it. I'm getting immediate feedback. I can see if what I'm doing is having any benefit. I can see the positive results. And good games, good video games, do that kind of thing because it keeps you playing. Now, I don't think this is part of some greater conspiracy to take over our minds or our children's minds, despite the fact that I have a little bit of a conspiracy theorist in me. I think it's just the way our brain works. And that's what's happening to our children. Our children are growing up in that world, and many times school doesn't fit into that paradigm. Here's the bottom line to all of this. This is the world that our kids are growing up in. And unless you're Amish and have completely ruled out any type of technology from your home, this is the way our kids' brains are going to be wired. Even if you limit all of their access to those things, even if you're not the parent that buys your kid a tablet when he's 2, even if you limit it to 30 minutes a day, the world is so saturated with this way of doing things of short-term rewards, short-term success, and immediate feedback that their attention spans are indeed going to be shorter. Does that mean we shouldn't limit our kids' access to things? No, because even the adults have become that. You go to any restaurant, you see families all with their phones out, texting, Instagramming, Facebooking. When they're at home, they might be watching a movie together, but 2 out of 4 people in that room may be also doing something simultaneously on some sort of electronic device. So, yes, we do need to make sure that we are looking at those things and changing our habits with them. So without sending the world to hell in a handbasket because of technology, there are some important implications for this in terms of how we do school. Our brains actually thrive on that kind of concept of immediate feedback, short-term success, and rewards. That's not a bad thing. It creates new neural pathways, and those neural pathways may have been created because you figured out how to solve this particular puzzle on a video game, but that same neural pathway will eventually be used for something else. And that something else might be find the cure for cancer, it might be figure out how to fix your car, it might be figure out how to navigate some emotional trauma that you're going through at the moment. An excellent example of this is studies have shown that children who learn to walk before they learn to crawl actually struggled with reading. They eventually struggled with disorders such as dyslexia. There's something about that movement of the hands and the feet in learning to crawl and the neural pathways that created that were later used for word recognition, word order, and the ability to read. Here's what all of this means for education. We've really got to change what we do in school. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying we need to make the classroom fun and games and every day is a video game. But those principles that make video games so successful are the principles that we need to be applying in our classroom. Gone are the days where we can just sit and feed information to children. And I would argue that's never been a good way to teach anyway. We've got to provide more feedback. We have to provide more timely feedback. We need to be providing specific feedback to our students about what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. And in that process, we are hopefully helping them to develop those problem-solving skills that we hear about on the news all the time, that our kids really need to develop. You know, even if we went back to the days of drill and kill, as some teachers refer to it, where we give information, now do this worksheet, or the sage on the stage where the teacher stands up front and feeds all this information to the students. I don't think our world is wired in that way anymore. If there truly is new jobs being created every day, and new jobs, I don't mean copies of the ones that already exist, but jobs that require skills that have never been made before, then we're doing our children a disservice by not changing how we teach. What does that mean for their attention spans? Those are some things that we have to work through. We're going to have to help them develop the attention span. Hopefully our society will realize what they're doing to our children, and not just our children, but ourselves, by constantly being on some kind of device. But if we want students to become adults that can solve problems, that can think critically, that can be creative, that can collaborate, that can communicate, yes, I have said that over and over and over again in the last few videos, but it is so important. We got to change how we're doing things. I appreciate the fact that you joined me yet again in my bathroom as I clean it. I didn't realize it was going to take me this long. Thanks for joining in. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share down below. And remember, always give somebody a reason to hope and learn something new every day.